Welcome back to the shipyard. Today, we're not looking at a ship. We are talking about the game. Star Trek Attack Wing has been out for a little over 3 years. And with it, we've seen the popularity rise, fall, maybe come back up again, fall. People have come, people have gone. Big names have come and gone. Podcasts have come and gone. That's natural for any game, any activity. Interest peaks and wanes. So, why does it matter for Attack Wing? Well, Star Trek has a lasting legacy. This is the 50th anniversary of the original series. And with it, we start looking at legacy. And I think 3 years is enough time to start looking at the legacy that Star Trek Attack Wing has, that WizKids has done with the game. They've done things right, and they've done things wrong. And this isn't meant to just talk about what's wrong, even though that's really easy to do, and if I went off on a huge rant, I'd probably get 1,000+ views, and that would be great, but that's not what I'm here for. So, what they've done well, they've designed missions that are mostly thematic and immersive and tell the story of Star Trek. That is a huge thing that they should be lauded, and they continue to do that. Some missions play out better than others. We have shining examples with the Kobayashi Maru, the Mutara Nebula. We have some sleeper scenarios as well. We have some very bad scenarios that we say, hey, don't play those. The organized play scenarios are a mixed bag, and anyone who's played them will tell you that, hey, some of them have had to be redone by TOs who actually care, because they want their players to have fun with it, rather than simply abusing a scenario. Well, that's another point. We'll get there. But another thing they've done well is a great variety of ships. They have pulled some ships out of the coffers that really dedicated Star Trek fans knew about, but maybe the more casual fans didn't quite know. I'm looking at like the Rav Lairst, the second Valdor class, the Saber class, some of the different Excelsiors, stuff along those lines. And they've brought a lot of captains, a lot of crew, the weapons, the tech to the game that really enable you to create whatever Star Trek scenario you want on the tabletop. Now, there are several glaring exceptions. Where are the Founders? Where are the Sona? Where's the Enterprise C? Where's some of the main crew? But outside of notable exceptions, we have a situation where 90% of the screen appearances have been put into this game. And by that I mean Picard's in 100+ episodes, and he counts for a bunch. When you have that, it's a great situation. I'm not trying to be a WizKids apologist here, because they have done a lot wrong. The paint jobs on some of these models have been horrendous. I'm looking at the original Saber class, even the redone Saber class. It's horrendous. The whole Klingon D7 debacle. First, the bridge was sideways. Then we get a redo, and the nacelles are on backwards. That's unacceptable. You just can't do that with a fairly iconic ship. It doesn't work. But at some point, there's forgiveness, and there's putting your hands up in the air and saying, does it really matter? And I say, no, not really. If the gameplay works, then it's there. Now, the rules. Oh, the rules. I dread talking about the rules because most people can agree on most of the basics of the rules, but there are weird interactions, and the WizKids Online Rules Forum, WARF, doesn't answer questions. Not frequently, and they ignore half of the important stuff, and that's not acceptable. That's not how you handle a game that you want people to play at a high level. People need to know how things work. And if you're going to errata cards, then you need to come out and say that it's errata. And if you're going to make new rulings, then you need to issue a new rulebook, not redo everything. And that is explicit for the May ruling, because May is a word that is optional, not indicative of once per turn. We need keywords in this game. Just put keywords. Once per turn keyword. Optional trigger keyword. It would be so easy. But it will never happen. Anyways, I have had my ups and downs with this game. It continues to astound me that I'm still here playing, that I'm still in the public eye, putting out a podcast, running a YouTube channel, because there are days that I hate this game. And part of that is the way WizKids handles it. Part of that is the community, and it's no person in particular. It's a combination of things. One, it's a sense of entitlement, that people feel like they should have things done a certain way, and everything should work the way they think that it should work. And two, it's people arguing over everything, mostly over the rules, but just over silly things. I've said for a long time that I want to be the person who organizes a continuing committee and keeps this game going. But there are days where I question the feasibility of that, because who would agree to everything that comes out? There'd be so many arguments, it would be insane. And you sit back and you go, is it worth it? And my answer right now is, I don't know. I had a good friend ask me, how's keeping up the attack wing spirit going? And I said, honestly, I don't know. It's rough some days. Editing is a chore. And I said I miss the days of State of the Federation where I could just come on, talk for an hour and a half, however long we talked, and be done. Because then it was out there, it was raw, it was uncut, you got thoughts. But that was that. There wasn't record it and then spend 20 hours editing. I'm immensely proud of Warp Core Breach, and I'm immensely proud of the Shipyard. I love what has come out of all of that. I think it's a valuable resource for people, and I wouldn't change what I've done. But there's times where it's lonely, and there's times where I go, I don't know that it's all worth continuing, because I don't know if it's mattered. I don't know that it's really made a difference. I don't know if it makes a difference now. Maybe it made a difference a year ago, 6 months ago. But I don't know if it makes a difference now, in September of 2016. And if it doesn't make a difference now, then maybe it's not worth doing. So, okay, Attack Wing. Turning it back to Attack Wing. Where does this game lie for me? At this point, I love playing it as a campaign. I love using it to tell stories. Because to me, the game does it so well. It is a great tool to sit down, to put ships on the table, to move, to roll dice, and to see what happens. And that's simple. The gameplay here is simple. And you bring cards in that mess with the simplicity. They add layers of complexity, and that's all great. And I go and I play a tournament once a month, and I have fun with that. I play a build to say, hey, let's see what happens. Let's try this. And I think a lot of times I'm using that as another means to maybe tell a story, or at least figure out a way to explore something in Attack Wing that I haven't explored. To say, hey, what would happen if I did this? That's why I took photon torpedoes in a match where secondary weapons hurt you. It's why I've taken 7 ships in a match before. It's why I took my venue and I said, hey, you know what? Let's unretire the resources. And let's do a variable point cost. And I'll put a link to the spreadsheet where we have that, so you guys can see what we're doing. It messes with the game. It brings a lot of intrigue to it, and it's why for different events I start trying to play it thematically. Not necessarily completely thematic, but I want to at least have aspects of theme, because to me, that's the heart and soul of Star Trek. And if I don't have some means of connecting Star Trek to what I'm doing, I just feel like I'm power gaming it all. And to me, that's not fun. I don't begrudge anyone else power gaming and having fun that way. Because if you do that and you have fun, then that's okay. I think there's still a lot of potential in this game. There's cards that I sit there and I go, this could be something if. Maybe the if is if it was cheaper. Or if it wasn't an action discard. Or if it wasn't an action disable. Or if it had time tokens instead of a disable. Or if it wasn't a 3 time token always. Things like that. There's room for growth. There's so much more out there. There truly is an undiscovered country. And there's new game mechanics that could be introduced. I don't know that WizKids will do it, because right now it feels like WizKids is just paying lip service to this game. They're putting out 1 new ship every 2 months. Maybe that has to do with the 50th anniversary. I don't know. I kind of hope it is, but even then, the choices seem really odd. That the ship that came out right around 50 is the Enterprise B. Now, I understand. It's an Enterprise, and that's cool. But we haven't seen a new sculpt. Not since Christmas. Yeah, I know we got the Borg sphere, or the Borg cube with sphere port, but it's still a Borg cube. It's a modification of an existing sculpt. I'm not hopeful. We're not getting a new sculpt this year. That's a bad sign. That's a really bad sign. Because there's so many new sculpts that this game could use. Talked about that in a Warp Core Breach episode. That if WizKids went there, it would open the game up so much. Independent would be a thing, a legitimate faction, but they're not going to. I want them to. I don't think they will. I want this game to keep going, but I also kind of want this game to end and it to go over to the hands of the fans so that we can create our own stuff and make it semi-official and use it in tournaments. Have a certified board, have a continuing committee that says this is the stuff that you can use in tournaments. And I feel like if we had that, we'd get to a better place. Because we wouldn't have the issues that we have in the game where these defensive lockdown builds are everything. We'd have ways around everything. We'd have counters to every strategy. We'd fix point costs. And we wouldn't design absolute garbage cards that will never see play from the moment they're printed. And if we did, we'd go back and fix them, which is a lot more than WizKids can ever say. So the state of the game right now is in question. Who knows where it's at? We know they're releasing Wave 29 in March, I think. We know we have OP through January with the end of Klingon Civil War. That's all we know right now. Knowing we have new ships coming out at least through Q1 of 2017 is something. But that's only 6 months. We've got 3 more OPs planned. Doesn't really guarantee anything. D&D thought they had a lot of stuff too, and now there's nothing to speak of. So, who knows? Anyways, that was a little bit of therapy for me. I hope somebody found this interesting. I don't know. I might do more of these vlog musing videos. I hope somebody will comment and let me know what you think. I'm open to hearing thoughts. Until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.